is Belize's military prepared to face the narcos? We'll tell you what the Minister of Home Affairs has to say. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, May 3rd, 2024.
As I look out on the audience, I see many of the artists whose works are represented in this first display. My respect to each of you for contributing to Belize's creative and intellectual inheritance. I also offer my admiration and respect to those artists represented in the museum who have passed on. Their work lives on as sources of inspiration and education. And for the many hundreds of artists who are not in the first show, I say that it is not our intention to develop a culture of exclusion or gatekeeping. Just the opposite. We see this space as one of liberation.
Yo me llamo José Luis Vivas. Yo he sido miembro desde hace 35 años en la Unión de Crédito. Todos mis préstamos que he pedido siempre me lo han dado. Ha sido una ayuda muy grande para mí porque he visto la prosperidad. Entonces ha crecido bastante por medio de la Unión de Crédito que me ha ayudado bastante en la comunidad de los cañeros, porque especialmente lo he visto porque hay muchos cañeros ahí en la Unión de Crédito y es por siempre por la ayuda que nos han dado. Yo empecé con 25 toneladas de licencia de caña. Ahorita ya estoy casi, entre yo y mi esposa casi tenemos las 2,000. Desde que estaba el señor Don Canul, yo ya estaba trabajando con la Unión de Crédito y ese viejito me trató muy bien. Me trató muy bien, entonces yo se lo recomiendo a cualquiera para el futuro.
This new Halover Bridge, much like its predecessor, holds momentous importance as it symbolizes resilience, strength, ingenuity, and embodies the steadfast spirit of our Belizean people. Today is a day of celebration and thanks, a day to celebrate all the hard work that went into the planning, design, and construction of this bridge.
As we traverse this bridge, let us not forget the challenges that were overcome, the lessons that were learned, and the dreams that were realized. Let us not forget what was done by putting its construction in Belizean hands. In so doing, we were able to save $20 million, reducing the cost of construction from $50 million, which was proposed by the previous administration, to $30 million, and look at that remarkable structure we created.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. In less than 2 weeks, the Corozal district recorded yet another execution-style murder. This time, the crime was committed in the village of Patakan, while the victim, his common-law wife, and other villagers, including 2 children, were at the park. By the time police arrived at the scene, Canela lay dead in the arms of his partner as several bullets penetrated his body. Elmer Cornejo reports.
1 week after turning 28, Benito Canela became the victim of yet another execution-style murder here in the north. The heinous crime was committed before Canela's 29-year-old common-law wife Indy Riz as the couple hung out at the park in the village of Patakan. Before he was shot to death, Canela was on the phone trying to contact his 6-year-old daughter to wish her a happy birthday. But the call would not go through, and so Canela and Riz decided to stay a while longer at the park. As the couple conversed, a white pickup truck approached. A lone gunman dressed in full black and wearing a hoodie exited the vehicle and released a hail of bullets at Canela. Today, a horrified Indy Riz recounted the horrible ordeal she lived last night, one that shattered her life dream of growing old with her partner who moved in with her 11 months ago.
Es que como acabamos de cenar, siempre salimos a sentarnos ahí, es de todas las noches. Y dice, se iba caminando y le preguntan, ¿dónde vas? Voy a llamar a la niña, me dice, porque es su cumpleaños de su hija. Ahora me dice, vamos, me dice, para que le digas un happy birthday, me dice. Pues vamos, le dije, nos sentamos ahí. Él sacó su phone, llamó a la niña y no le contestó porque, le digo, ellos, es jueves, ellos están en church, porque ellos van en church. Y lo colgó, de ahí él me dio su phone y me dice, aguanta la llave de la moto porque él no le gusta tener nada con él, siempre me lo da a mí. Ahora estuvimos conversando, me tenía abrazada, estamos hablando ahí, cuando se venía la vecina. Ahora le dice la vecina, ¿qué hacemos aquí? Agarrando un poco de aire, dice. Y se sentó ella con nosotros, ella y su hija. Y estuvimos conversando y todo. Mi mamá me habló a mí que venga a ver mi bebé. Yo vine, no tardé, ni 5 minutes, lo regresé va con ellos. Cuando yo regresé va con ellos, tenía una de mis primas aquí al lado que estaba con su bebé de 2 años ahí con nosotros sentados. Estuvimos hablando, relajando, estamos riendo y él está dando sus chistes, todo. Estábamos hablando normal, todos. Cuando salió un muchacho de aquí del terreno de mi papá, se iba y él le dice, bye, dice, ¿sí, dónde andas ahorita? Porque vino a conseguir un Volt, ahora que le dijo que esa cosa es malo para él. Cuando vimos que él se rió y todo. Cuando quedó así, vimos una persona que venía caminando, pero viene agachado la cabeza con su todo tapado. Hasta cuando la persona llegó enfrente de nosotros, alzó su cabeza y tenía cubierto la cara. Él solo vi cuando él me empujó a su lado. Me caí y escuché los disparos. Cuando yo dije levanta, él ya está en el suelo. Yo corrí a donde está él, aún los disparos seguían. Yo lo abracé conmigo y ninguno de esos disparos me tocaron a mí, solamente a él. A nadie que estaba con nosotros, a nadie quisieron, solo a él lo querían.
At the time of the shooting, other individuals were at the park, including a 2-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl who were accompanying Canelo and Riz. Luckily, they managed to escape the bullets. Canela, though, was not so lucky. By the time the sounds of gunshots receded, the 28-year-old took his last breath as he was held by Riz. But who would want Canela dead and why? That is what family members are asking the police to investigate.
Y ahí estuvo botado. Y la policía llegó rápido. Cuando él me volteó a ver, solo abrió su ojo. Me quiso decir algo, pero yo no sabía qué es lo que me quería decir. Llegó mi hermanita y le dice, cuñado, le dice. Y intentó volver a hablar cuando después vomitó la sangre. Ahí se quedó ya no se movió más. Fueron más de 9 disparos que le metieron. Y ahí se quedó ahí tirado, pidiendo ayuda y nada todavía. Estaba todo cubierto, no se le veía nada, nada.
What is known so far is that the same vehicle that carried Canela's killer followed the sister of his common-law wife and friend yesterday as they visited a store in the village.
No fui yo que fui a la tienda, fue mi hermanita a quien siguieron en el vehículo. Ella dice que ese vehículo se puso atrás de ella y de ahí vio que venían en su espejo, pero nosotros ni en cuenta porque ella fue a comprar normal y yo y él estamos en nuestro propio own, ellos en sus own fueron, nosotros ya hubiéramos cenado y me dice vamos al parque y fue que nos quedamos ahí. Después, pero no sabía que a ella la estaban siguiendo ni nada, ella no dijo nada, ella no nos comentó nada, pero ya después, cuando el hombre estaba reculando, disparando y todo, se iba corriendo para atrás. Se fue de ese lado para Cristo Rey y mi papá alcanzó a ver el vehículo donde el hombre subió.
As she recalls her final moments with Canela, Riz says he predicted his death.
Y apenas ayer me dijo que cuando quedemos viejitos, me dijo así, vamos a ver qué va a pasar, me dice, vamos a hacer nuestra casita, me dice, si es que llegó a quedar viejito a tu lado, me decía, solo que cuida a sus hijos, si él le llega a pasar algo malo, y así me empezó a hablar como si él ya sentía o no sé, pero me abrazó todo el día y estamos acostados, me tiene abrazada y todo, me está hablándome y todo, pero él no salió de la casa, solo fue a comprar y vino. De aquí nos quedamos todos en la tarde, aquí estábamos.
With only memories left, Canela, affectionately known as Pansas, will be remembered as a jovial person that loved to make others happy.
No, él es un hombre bien amable, que le habla a todo mundo aquí en Patakan, él a donde lo ven, lo saludan. Él es friendly, él a donde van Corozal, a donde sea él. Él es bien así, amigable con todos.
¿A qué se dedicaba su esposo?
Él era pescador. Porque igual mi papá le estaba diciendo que lo lleve a cortar caña. Y el día de su cumpleaños él estaba tomando y celebrando. Ya después al otro día para su cumpleaños de mi papá, no tardó, fue el de mi papá. Y él lo fue a buscar hasta en el monte, en la caña. Y él se puso a cortar caña con mi papá un rato. Y dice que sí le gustó. Y entonces dice suegro, dice, yo me voy a quedar a cortar caña con usted. Dice, todavía agarró y lo abrazó y todo. Cuando vinieron aquí, me dice que está alegre porque él le cortó caña, me dijo y todo, pero él no tenía problema con nadie aquí en la aldea.
We understand that about 1 mile before entering Pachacan, officers were able to retrieve a sweater and long pants, believed to have been used to seclude the identity of the triggerman. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
A post-mortem examination remains pending on the body of Canela. With Belizeans already on edge with all the cartel violence taking place in Chetumal, the report of the execution-style murder of Benito Canela in the peaceful community of Patakan only increases the woes. But according to Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa, the murder of Canela is not related to the violence taking place across the border.
The preliminary information is that it's not leading in that direction, but as you rightly mentioned, with the very tense situation that is taking place in Chetumal at the moment, we cannot rule that as a motive, as a possible connection, and so the police is looking at that angle as well, but so far that doesn't seem to be the lead.
Last night's unfortunate incident, are you able to say whether or not that was related to the Arana murder? And did you receive reports that Mr. Arana may have not been the intended target?
I have not received that report, no, and I cannot say at this point in time, we have not been briefed as yet as to whether there's a connection between the two.
But do you know whether it was drug-related in general?
Again, I cannot say at this very point. I'm sure as the day progresses, we'll get more information.
We know.
While preliminary reports do not indicate that Canela's death had anything to do with the cartels, The Ministry of Home Affairs is keeping a close eye at what is happening at the neighboring community of Chetumal. As a form of precaution, more officers have been deployed to the north, patrol the illegal crossing areas of the Rio Hondo.
As you know, approximately a year ago, we commenced operations in the north of our country along the Rio Hondo, in particular villages along the Rio Hondo and in the Corozal Free Zone as well. And so the meetings that we had earlier this week was with the Ministry of Defense and Border Security, along with Minister Marin, Minister Mira, and of course General Loria. In terms of our collaborative efforts along the border to not just continue the good work that this unit has been doing, but to increase our presence along the border in light of the recent build-up in Chetumal. So we are deploying further personnel, and again, I cannot go into further detail, but I can say we are deploying additional personnel.
How successful was that operation?
I would say it's been successful so far. I think one of the biggest threats coming out of the activities that have been taking place in Chetumal and the response by the Mexican government to deploy some 200 National Guard and Marines is that there is a likelihood, a possibility rather, that some of these individuals may try to seek safe haven in our country. And so it really is about preserving and protecting our borders so that these individuals do not come across.
While GOB had previously planned to extend the operations here in the north for the next 6 months, the situation on the ground in Quintana Roo changes the game. For that reason, the approval of additional funding is being sought from Cabinet.
The leads in our respective departments have been tasked to see what additional resources will need to be deployed, obviously in terms of gas, in terms of consumption of fuel because of the patrols that we'll be doing, in terms of the various equipment, drones, I know that we may be purchasing. And so that is the kind of task that we have given to our heads of department to get to us by Wednesday of next week so that we can take it to Cabinet for additional resources.
There was a fatal traffic accident in the community of San Jose here in the Orange Walk district earlier this week, which claimed the life of 72-year-old Tomas Mendez from the community of San Pablo. The incident played out on Wednesday, May 1st, shortly after 8 a.m. as the elderly man was riding his bicycle on the side of the road when he was knocked down by a motorcycle. The elderly man sustained severe head and body injuries and died a few hours after. Today we spoke to his family, who say he was a hard worker who did not deserve such a cruel end.
Se enteró porque lo llamaron en la mañana que habían atropellado a su papá, so él se fue, eran como las 8:30 para las 9, iban a la hora que le informaron que su papá había recibido un accidente, ¿no? Es todo lo que sabe. Después él salió de aquí de la casa de San Pablo y se fue a San José a ver qué pasó, y cuando llegó pues la ambulancia había llegado y los policías también, y él solo cuando él llegó ya dicen quién es el familiar de Mr. Tomás Méndez, y él subió en la ambulancia y se fue y se hizo cargo de todo cuando llegaron, pero pensamos como que es como un accidente porque una moto lo había chocado, no creíamos que iba a ser tan grave, ¿no? Que hasta pues pasó, se murió el señor, ¿no? Mi suegro, porque él negocia y nos dijo a nosotros que él va a salir a cobrar como las 7:30 para las 8 eran, cuando nos dijo que él va a salir a cobrar y regresa. Y le dijo, pues aquí estaba mi marido, como le dijo, está bien, y se fue. Esa hora fue que salió de aquí de la caja en San Pablo. ¿Media hora después? Ya después como a las 8:30 que le digo que para las 9 fue que me llamaron, pues nos llamaron que habían atropellado a él y él se fue para allá.
The family are tonight awaiting a post-mortem examination to be conducted before they are able to lay their loved one to rest.
Pues nos están diciendo que hay 5 cuerpos adelante de él para hacer la autopsia y no pueden pasar a esos 5 cuerpos para ir de una vez con él, pero los van a tratar de ayudar en lo más que se pueda, que es para el lunes, después de mediodía, para recibir el cuerpo y llevarlo a hacer la autopsia, porque parece que el doctor de acá de Orange Rock no está trabajando y tienen que llevarlo hasta Ladyville o no sé dónde hacen eso. Ahí tienen que esperar su turno de él y hasta para el lunes, después de mediodía, es que puede ver que los den el cuerpo.
The driver of the motorcycle, we understand, was issued with a notice of intended prosecution as authorities await the results of the post-mortem examination to determine the cause of death. And while that accident occurred on Wednesday, a traffic accident that occurred here in Orange Walk shortly after 2 o'clock this morning claimed the life of 28-year-old Alejo Adrian Castillo from the community of Yo Creek. According to official police reports, Alejo Castillo was socializing with other individuals here in Orange Walk Town last night when he informed his friends that he would be heading home to Yo Creek shortly before 2 this morning. His friends report that he got on his motorcycle and drove away. A few minutes later, Castillo's cousin, who was also socializing along with him, decided that he too would head home to Yo Creek. Upon making his way home, the cousin drove up to Alejo's motorcycle, which was thrown on the side of the road in this area here on the San Antonio Road. A few feet away, Alejo was found on the sidewalk bleeding from his nose and ears. Another friend was called to the scene who transported a badly injured Castillo to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Information from police is that Alejo was driving his cycle when he lost control and was thrown off, causing severe head injuries. At this time, a post-mortem examination is pending to determine Castillo's exact cause of death. The Belize Police Department has issued a wanted poster for 18-year-old Aaron Tun, a resident of Corozal Town. Tun is wanted for questioning in a police investigation, and anyone knowing of his whereabouts is asked to contact the nearest police station or call the Crime Stoppers hotline at 922. Coming up next, Canacochitomal wants GOB to remove warning of going to Quintana Roo. Stay tuned.
Mi nombre es Mercedes García, me dedico a artesanías de bayal. Yo tengo, creo que más de 20 años de ser miembro. Quería poner este negocio y le dije pues fui allá y le dije al gerente, por favor, necesito unas máquinas. ¿Y qué necesitas? Pues dime cuánto. No tenía casa, no tenía nada. Ahorita tengo casa, hasta carro tengo. Lo que me gusta ahí en Credit Junior que uno llega y puede ver bastante fila, pero rápido. Los que trabajan ahí, los trabajadores son rápidos. Y acá pues me ayudaron hasta para hacer esto. Estas paredes así me ayudaron a hacerlo porque me dieron el préstamo. Entonces, aunque yo no lo puedo hacer, pero pago para que me lo hagan y eso pues gracias a Credit Junior.
One day, we decided to gather everyone who loves The Last of Us in one place. The naked and afraid fans, and well, everyone who loves realities. The ones who don't like spoilers, and the ones who do. And those who love Barbie and Peppa Pig. That place is called Max. Well, it's not an actual place. It's on your screens, and there's room for everyone. Max is here to bring you more of the stories that you love. Max, the one to watch.
Our legacy isn't how many commas we have in our bank account. It's who we're lucky enough to have in our lives and what we can leave them with.
Henry, remind me again why we can't put you in a gifted school.
Because it's better for my psychosocial development for me to interact with a peer group in a normal school environment.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Susan? I guess I could just set you up with direct deposit if that's easier.
I don't know. I'll have to ask Henry.
You have to ask your 11-year-old?
Did our financial statement come in the mail today?
Yeah, I forgot to give it to you.
I don't know how you do it all by yourself.
Come on, I have Henry. Find me another male of the species who's more grown up than him.
I'd like to.
This story, it's about me My brother, my mom, and the girl who lived next door.
Henry and Peter, they're lucky to have you.
And your father's lucky to have you too.
Stepfather. You okay? I'm good.
Mom, I have to tell you something, and it's very important. Christine is in trouble. When someone hurts someone else, we have to make it better. There's only one way to stop it. I'd hope to do it all myself, but that's not an option.
There has to be another way to help Christina. Why there's no way.
Mr. Sickelman is the police commissioner. I'm not going to subject him to public scrutiny without conclusive evidence.
Okay, let's do this.
Mom, everything you need is right here. I'll be with you the whole time.
I know what you've done. Henry documented all of it.
Who do you think they're gonna believe?
It can't be left undone. No matter what, don't
I'm
panic.
not panicking.
We have to make it better.
Do you want quick cash for your gold? Then take advantage of Monica's Pawn Shop's big loans on gold, and our guaranteed low rate of only 10% on all pawn jewelry. But it doesn't stop there. We also pawn TVs, buy scrap gold, and pawn vehicles that you can still drive. Visit Monica's Pawn Shop today in our Belize City location at number 128 Cemetery Road, our Belmopan location at number 5 Garden Plaza, our Orange Walk location, number 2 Belize Carazal Road. Give us a call at 207-0970 and get more money for your gold jewelry.
The government of Belize yesterday issued a warning to Belizeans to exercise caution when crossing the northern border due to the recent hike in violence currently being witnessed in Chetumal, Quintana Roo. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade said the government of Belize is monitoring the recent rise in violent crime in Chetumal, Mexico, and advises Belizeans to exercise caution when traveling across the northern border and visiting Chetumal. In response, Amir Padilla Espadas, president of Canaco Chetumal, emphasized the urgency for authorities to swiftly address and remove this warning. He stressed that its continuation could adversely affect the influx of Belizean visitors who significantly contribute to their local economy. While Padilla Espadas also underscored the importance of government-to-government dialogue to coordinate actions and raise awareness, today Minister of Home Affairs Honorable Karim Musa stressed that the removal of the warning lies in the hands of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
That is a matter for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, having done their consultation with our embassy in Mexico City, as well as liaising with our counterparts, our Mexican representatives here in Belize, and that decision was taken. And so, for an update on that, you would need to ask the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
During his declaration, Padilla pledged to continue communicating with Belizean counterparts, informing them of the situation in Chetumal and the measures being implemented to safeguard tourist and commercial activities. As concerns emerge from neighboring Chetumal, Quintana Roo, where there has been an increased threat of narco violence in the past few weeks, earlier this week, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke about the police's department's plan to ensure that our side of the border remains free of that violence. Commander of the BDF, Brigadier General Azariel Laria, has also given the BDF stance on the matter. The BDF, according to Laria, have been preparing for the possibility of heavy narco activity from a year ago. He added that they are ensuring that the soldiers are as equipped to handle the cartels as the Mexican security forces.
In support, the police always conducts their internal operations. they have the mandate or the authority to conduct arrests. We could do detentions, but we will always be in support and hand over. If we detain anybody, we must hand over whoever it is that is committing the crimes to the police department, and they will be responsible to do all the remainder, the prosecution, etc., etc. Yes, we did plan yesterday. From last year, this Caborca cartel is something that we got wind of from last year in May. I do remember that we went to Mexico to inform their cabinet, is it their National Security Council, about such problematic in close to our border, northern border. In their cases, the southern border, which they referred us to the state of Quintana Roo and the military that was here, and to conduct more meetings. So here we are now. The cartels are in southern Mexico. They're in fights. Some might say it's not serious. Others would say it's serious, because on the videos, if you notice the cruelty that is being used for them to target individuals. It's something that is happening within cartels, and it could spiral if we don't watch it. It could come into Belize, into our territory. We have been conducting operations from last year in May, June, July, thereabout, and we continue to do so. And most naturally, if the Mexican armed forces bolster their security in Quintana Roo, in the state of Chetumal, we have to ensure that ours too is our security presence is increased, and we have been doing that with the police department as well.
And while the BDF is preparing for any eventuality, Commander Loria concedes that they do not have enough human resources needed to deal with a matter of this magnitude.
Certainly we don't have all the assets that we would require, that we wish that we have there. Hence the reason we work joint interagency with the other security elements. And something that we spoke about is that we at yesterday's meeting is that we didn't have the presence of the immigration and the customs department. That they are also force multipliers. They are responsible to conduct security along the border as well. And the more personnel that we have together, it will be better for us. We at present with the police department and us, it's a significant amount of personnel that we have in the border, along the border, and we do intend to bolster it. It's just for our safety precautions and to reassure the Belizean public that we are not standing idly by. We are responding to an emergency that is happening on the other side of the border, and we don't want that problem to come across.
No, sir.
But with human resources or not, today the Minister of Home Affairs, Karim Musa, also agreed that our soldiers have what it takes to protect our country.
I would not agree with that. We are adequately prepared. We are adequately resourced in terms of our police department and our military to handle this type of situation. It won't be any sort of mass incursion that we are expecting, and so just certain individuals may try to seek refuge in our country, and that is what we are trying to prevent, and to ensure that their tentacles do not spread further. And so we are targeting certain individuals who our intelligence is suggesting have been working along with them, targeting those individuals, and again nipping it in the bud.
As the BDF contends with possible narco threats in the north, Belize's armed forces battle with continued threats to Belize's sovereignty at the Sarstoon in the south from Guatemalan residents and its armed forces. Last week, we showed you the bold interaction in the Sarstoon as GAF soldiers approached a Belizean vessel carrying the media as they conducted a visit to the area. Since that incident, the Guatemalan authorities hosted a press conference in which they announced intention to increase operations in the area to deter what they referred to as illegal incursions into Guatemalan territory. In an interview with the media this week, Commander of the BDF Azariel Loria commented on this matter, maintaining that their position is to ensure Belize's sovereignty.
It's a matter of for us to maintain sovereignty, to ensure that we are patrolling what is ours. And what we are doing is to patrol around the island because we are following the 1859 treaty. That is what we went to the International Court of Justice. And I don't see no other protocols in place in that Sarsoon Island, so that is the Belizean, the BDF's protocol, and that is what we're abiding by. Hence the reason we did what we did last week. Thursday we patrolled around it, but they too, they are claiming the river. I listened to the press conference of the Guatemalan Chief of Staff, where initially he said that the entire river belongs to them, but then he, as a good TikToker, rectified that it is a part of the Sibun, parts of the Sibun, of the Sarstoon that belongs to Guatemala, and we have recommended henceforth that this that we are there. We understand that we are not going to violate any human rights, their human rights, and they too, they do understand because he made it crystal clear too that they are not going to come and violate our human rights. But in their mandate, they too have they have the issue of sovereignty. That's a blurred area that we understand that with the military, the military is just an instrument of national power, and that instrument itself will not solve the concern that we have there. So we have to up it. We have to up the ante and pass it on to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
It's another Mr. Fall promotion at Guinea Grass Village Council presents Buffalo. It's all happening on Saturday, May 18th at the New River Park, Guinea Grass Village. Everybody come, let's Buffalo. Live performance by the General himself, Super G. The General performing live. May 18th, New River Park, Guinea Grass Village. Music juggling by DJ Dickus and DJ Virgo. Get your ticket, pre-sale. Tickets $20 and hear more at the door. And without the net, you better come Guinea Grass Village because you can't afford to miss this big Punta Rock competition and lots of giveaways. Mr. Fall Promotion and Guinea Grass Village Council, Buffalo. Sponsored by Express Plus Streaming Entertainment, Rum of Billy's trademark, Mr. Fall Promotion and Rum Berry.
In late 2023, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, launched its Healthy Lifestyle Caravan initiative. The initiative seeks to facilitate health services to persons living in situations of vulnerability and limited access to medical care, while targeting the impact of non-communicable diseases in Belize. Since its launch, the Healthy Lifestyle Caravan have been visiting rural communities across the country, and today they were in San Pablo here in the Orange Walk district, where residents were offered free medical services and information about the importance of living a healthy lifestyle.
This is a part of our Healthy Lifestyles Caravan.
The Minister of Health and Wellness in Belize is very concerned about the level of non-communicable diseases in the country, and it is one of the leading causes of death, especially the cardiovascular disorders. So these are diseases like the hypertension, diabetes, and the complications of strokes and heart attacks. And so because this is contributing significantly to illness and death, the Ministry of Health has taken a decision to go throughout the country and to promote the importance of addressing the risk factors for these diseases. Some of the risk factors are a sedentary lifestyle, just sitting at your desk, sitting behind a computer, sitting on your tablets, especially for children, not doing physical activity, not walking, not exercising. Some of the other risk factors include an unhealthy diet. We have too much sugar, too much fat, too much carbohydrates in our diet. Smoking tobacco is a big risk factor for chronic illnesses. Also, eating a lot of fats and alcohol consumption. We should really be very moderate in the consumption of alcohol and sugars as well. And so part of this, our healthy lifestyle caravan, is about bringing information to the communities throughout Belize so that persons can become more aware of what they need to do to improve their health and to help to prevent and control, if they do have, these non-communicable diseases. And so that's why we're here today, to promote physical activity, healthy diet, talk about the importance of taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health. We're also promoting screening, because many people, hypertension or high blood pressure is called a silent killer. And many people are walking around with elevated blood pressures, elevated blood sugars, and they don't know. And so they are being screened here as well for that. And we're talking about the importance of screening for cancers as well.
The Healthy Lifestyle Caravan also seeks to bring different stakeholders together to offer more wholesome information to those who visit the event.
I think the approach that the Ministry of Health and Wellness is taking is a very good one, because health is not just the responsibility of the Ministry of Health. Health is a collective responsibility. Health is an individual's responsibility, but it requires a lot of partners. So I know that you have different departments from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. I think you have NDAC, the National Drug Abuse Control Council. You have an NHI provider. We are partnering with the doctors, the malaria program. There are several different entities, because even though we are focusing a lot on the non-communicable diseases, this is an opportunity to bring health services to the community. And also we use that opportunity to provide as much information in all various aspects of health to the individuals.
Since its launch, residents have been extremely receptive to the idea of accessing various medical services and information in one centralized space, according to PAHO Representative Dr. Karen Bell-Lewis.
Response has been very good. We have had persons come in to us that they are very pleased that we have actually brought the services to them. Because we are here at the health center now, next to the community center, but in some of the more rural communities, we go to different places, to a church, to another community center, and some of these villages are not very close to a health center. They may have to take the bus, they may have to walk for very long distances to get the services. And so we have had a very good response where people are very pleased that we bring the services to them, especially when we bring services like vaccination for children with the doctor as well. But people are exceptionally open to receiving information about how they can prevent some of these illnesses and maintain their health in a better way. I think I'm very pleased with the response of the children. Something good is happening in the education system. The children are very knowledgeable about what they should have for a healthy diet, about the fruits and the vegetables. They are very eager and keen to do the exercises that we put them through. And so I think that augurs very well for Belize in the future generation, because the children are the ones that we want to change their lifestyles, change their behaviors to improve the health of the whole population in the future.
The Healthy Lifestyle Caravan has been making its way through all 6 districts, offering basic health screenings and other medical services. Catholic primary school principals from across the country gathered yesterday evening in Corozal to take part in a 2-day event. The annual gathering serves as a platform for the sharing of performance reports. Last night marked the opening of the event, where principals were treated with some good food and music. And while we were invited to the function, we asked Guillermo Pech, Vice President of the Executive of Catholic Primary Schools, to share some more about the 2 days activity.
Objective met.
Well, it's the annual gathering that we do. It's the 20th gathering that we held yesterday and today. Today was the very important day. It's the business day, we call it. This is where we go ahead and we put all the financial reports and all the minutes are read. But the most important part are the resolutions that are tabled. And then we as an association need to vote on it, whether we agree or not. And then from there we move forward, to make the association continue growing and serving our Catholic principals throughout the country.
So underscore, what was the results of a year report then of the association? Was it a good report? Was it a bad report? And then what the association is looking forward with the principals?
Well, definitely it was a successful one. We, every year we try to improve on what has been done. This year, we are doing a lot of work when it comes to the representation of Catholic principals with the other stakeholders like Ministry of Education and the entire management that that leads us. But we had 2 very important resolutions that were tabled, and it went well, both of them.
Some teachers.
The annual gathering also served to recognize principals that will retire after years of service, including Gregorio Che, Anthony Fuentes, Claret Jacobs, Felix Sutherland, Margaret Carr, Alma Botes, and Angela Jimenez. In the case of Jimenez, her retirement came early as she has fallen ill, but not before transforming Guinea Grass RC into an exemplary school in northern Belize.
Yeah, every year it used to be that we used to award the principals that retired the year before. But now we are saying we need to acknowledge them before they go. So they are on their last months before they retire. So now we are giving the plaques to them before they leave, like the year they're leaving, so that they can at least be acknowledged on the year that they're leaving. But yeah, we had Miss Angela Jimenez, that she was awarded, a hard worker, but due to illness she has to leave, right? But she still came here last night, and she got her plaque, and thankfully she was acknowledged for her hard work that she did at Guinea Grass.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, May 6th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at CTV3BelizeNews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at Facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.